Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Good and Yummy Cooking with Phat Cat. I'm your host, DJ Phat Cat L, aka Phat Cat, aka Mr. L, aka the Hitman. Call it what you will. This is another episode of the Good and Yummy Show. We haven't had it in a minute. It's been I'd say about 3 weeks or so since we had the last show. Today we're going to have in a special guest who's going to be preparing a very wholesome and scrumptious dish, which I won't tell you the name. She'll give you the name. But her name is Felicia Whitlow, and she'll be joining us soon. I want you to go out, tell a couple friends, and like, share, and follow the video. You can find the video on YouTube at WPKB Media Network, the channel there. You can also go to WPKBmedia.com, and we should have live broadcasting on there as well. So without further ado, what I will do is I will go out and I will introduce by letting the know we're going live. Welcome, Felicia Whitman. Hey, good afternoon.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We got that audio thing again. We'll see how it straightens out.
Okay.
You doing
Okay.
good?
Yep, I'm doing good.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just let you introduce yourself, and then
hmm
you'll tell us about the dish that you're thinking about preparing, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, cool. Let's start now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Hello, my name is Felicia Whitlow, and I am cooking one of my most favorite dishes, which is coconut curry chicken, when I'm using actual chicken thighs, because I think the chicken thighs taste better with the meal than the chicken breast, because the thigh just has like a different flavor. Y'all know what I mean. So I found this recipe when I was just trying to figure out something different to cook, because my youngest daughter, my 13-year-old, told me, Mom, can you please cook something else? I am tired of the spaghetti. I'm tired of, what else did she say? Steak or something. Like, I need something else. Like, I was like, okay, what can I do? So I started finding different things, and I've actually perfected this dish that my kids really like it and enjoy it. And it's a favorite that I put in the rotation.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got going.
Yes. So right now I have my rice in my rice cooker, because I do not make rice on the stove. I have tried plenty of times and it always comes out very wrong. So I've learned to just embrace my rice cooker and just go from there. So don't judge me.
Definitely won't.
So, of course, with the chicken thighs, you can cut them smaller or leave them big like this. My favorite to use is the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, because it makes the meal like a little bit more healthier, you know?
Yeah.
And my middle child, she does not like meat on the bone. Why? I don't know. However, so I always look for the boneless things for me to cook, because if not that, she won't eat it. And then she goes into this, oh my God, Mom, you don't know me. I'm like, oh, okay, like you changed every day. Like, okay.
So no bones about it.
No bones about it. So, starting off with my seasoning. So I love the coarse ground black pepper. We're going to use the curry powder, the coriander seed, and the turmeric. We're going to put just a dash of salt. We don't like a lot of salt in our dishes because of high blood pressure and so forth. And you really don't need salt for flavor, right? As long as you have the right seasons for flavor, you really don't need the salt. We have our red curry paste, and I'm going to put in some red pepper flakes because I love the spice. And of course, the minced garlic. Now, I know I could have bought the actual garlic and squeezed it down and all that stuff, but why? When they already have it minced in this thing for me. Just saying.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so I already have the coconut oil on the stove in my cast iron pot. So once I season the chicken, I'm just going to throw that in there. Unfortunately, I cannot sit here and tell you, 1 teaspoon of pepper or whatever. I just season until the ancestors tell me to stop. So I just go ahead and season, and then I'll feel my grandmother tap me on the shoulder and be like, okay, that's enough. I'm like, okay, that's enough. And it works out every time, because I do not like bland food. Just saying.
So salt to taste, basically.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I know we've all been to other people's houses or restaurants, and you'll be like, "Did they season this? Like, what the hell is this?"
Yeah. I was down in Atlanta. It was a place called Juke Joint, and I don't want to put them on blast, but I was disappointed. But then again, it was what I ordered. There were certain things that I ordered, they were on point, and then certain things, you're going with the expectation that's going to be what Mama used to make,
Yes, yes. Can't
and
do
then you come
that.
out and realize it. Mama don't live here anymore.
Right.
But yeah,
What what
what
did
did I
you
eat?
order?
Well, the chicken for one, the mac and cheese was okay. The greens, and understandably, everybody tries to go neutral on greens because of the concern with sodium. So a lot of the greens, unless you go into a small mama and papa joint,
Uh,
they tend to be very bland. And I mean, I go with smoked turkey, to put my flavor in, and some good vinegar, like maybe apple, cider vinegar, whatnot. You don't have to be bland to give greens in order for that, so they tend to do that. And there's also the sugar. Sometimes I've known some of the places to put sugar in greens, which I was like,
mhm.
that's crazy. So I don't know. What about you? Ever experienced like the worst greens ever?
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you a secret. You know, I don't like greens.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
So you don't?
I just don't like greens. I
Okay.
never liked it. I've always tried it. I've tried different people's greens. I've done all that, and I don't like it. It tastes
Okay.
like full grass with salt and pepper. Like I'm just not.
So okay. So like,
What's
okay?
what?
So what's your alternative for greens? I mean, have you ever had cassava leaf? It's an African thing.
How about what?
Or have you ever had callaloo, which is Jamaican green, or cassava leaf, which is the African greens? Both of which have a little softer texture than the collard green.
Uh huh.
And I understand how you're saying it's really intense with how hard it is, and it sounds kind of true, and it is true. I tried callaloo, which is I have like a Jamaican dish, and I tried cassava leaf with some fufu, African meal, and it's a little more palatable. I mean, as far as the texture is not as intense. I might recommend that, but you seem dead set against greens altogether. So
I
I
am
don't
not
know.
a fan. Not a fan. And
What
I
do
know
you?
my friends be all like, "Well, you ain't black. I don't care. Go eat what you want."
So wait, that's the qualifier. I had no idea.
Yes. Well, mine's just a joke, of course, but
I
still.
know, I know. But so, what do
I,
you use? You don't have another like another greens choice. If you have a nice southern meal, what do you like throw in
well,
there?
I like green beans, like fresh green beans, and I
Okay,
like to have them sauteed with butter and sometimes garlic and onions and tossed like that. I don't
okay,
like green beans that's boiled.
got you.
I'll eat spinach. I love spinach. I like cabbage. I'll do
Okay,
that. But
okay,
greens, I don't think so.
okay. So spinach is kind of like I would say a healthy substitute for it. I would guess as far as
Right.
being leafy, you know. And
Right.
so you're not opposed to snapping on those snap peas.
Yes. I like snack peas.
Yeah, I know about that. My mother sit you down with a huge 3 pound bag and be snapping off the ends to
Yep.
kingdom come.
Yep.
Like, yeah, sounds familiar. And
Do you eat chitlins and pig feet? Do you eat
oh
that?
no, oh no, oh no, oh no. All right, here's the deal. Akeem do not eat no kind of pork. Now, when I was a kid, my mom, she was in her Christian roots, and she threw some chitlins in the pots and bacon. I had it all. I've been there, done that. But
Mm-hmm.
since I was 19, I haven't. I mean, I have found very good substitutes for all of that stuff. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
telling you about with the smoked turkey, I would use that over some ham hocks and greens. Or I can cook if you take a good certain turkey, not the nasty turkey bacon, but the one that looks like real bacon. You could put
Okay.
that.
What's that?
Huh?
It's okay.
You could put that in as a substitute for any of that, any kind of smoke flavor. So I kind of got my substitutes. Beef ribs, I can, cook them just the same as the regular. So a lot of that stuff. Now the only thing, like with the chitlins, like I said, I remember like it was yesterday, and I remember because it's intestines. I remember the smell,
Hmm.
all the fecal matter they had to clean out of that. I'm keeping it one. It's fecal matter.
Exactly.
And why would you want to eat fecal things that are holding fecal matter? It's beyond me.
And what kills me is they go, "Oh, you got to clean it real good." I'm like, why would I eat something that I have to clean so good that I don't get sick or E. coli or something? And I do understand our history. I understand that we were fed these things and we turned
Right,
around and flipped it and made it good.
right,
That's awesome.
right,
However, we are now educated. We
right,
know better. We got to do
right.
better. I'm not
Exactly.
eating that crap. I was like, you can
No,
call me
not even.
non-black. You can call me bougie. I'm
Look, this
like, I just don't
there's certain
care.
things that I don't care what you call me at that point. And being that stuff has a lot of high blood pressure, it gives you high blood pressure. I'm talking about like the pig feet, and you get a lot of high blood pressure from things like that. Would you really want to kill yourself and say, "Well, I used to eat it back then"? They say when you know better, you do better. Oprah says it all the time. Yeah, I see you got an audio mic coming in and out. It came back in. When you when you know better, you
Yeah,
do
I came
better.
back.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a red signal that tells me how
Exactly.
you. Yeah, so why would you do something that you now have an education about? That's just silly.
It is. So I find that a lot with us, and I think maybe with other cultures, is that I mean I get it. Like I love being black. Hold on to my African Americanness with the hardest, but you don't have to fit into the stereotype. Like yesterday, I was speaking to a real good friend of mine, and we both grew up overseas. We grew up in Europe. So when you're growing up overseas, you're exposed to different types of music. So I didn't grow up with the Run DMCs, the what is it, Lisa and Colt Jam. Like I didn't know any of that until I
Yeah.
came back to the States. And of course, our speech is proper. We're listening to Guns N' Roses, John Bon
Hmm.
Jovi. So we get the
Yeah.
whole, what you listening to? Like, why do you dance like that? Or, this and that. So we got like a hard drive lesson in culture, to blacken us up, I guess. So we won't be listening to
Exactly.
that. So I just never understood why it was a thing of you have to be a certain way to be considered black. Like that's not the case. It shouldn't be like that.
Right. It shouldn't, but just like old habits, they die
Yeah.
hard. People are still bent on acting a certain way, and a lot of it is conditioning,
Yeah. Yeah.
conditioning. Pavlov's dogs conditioning.
True.
And somehow or another, you gotta, they say anything that's learned can be unlearned.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anything you have learned, you can always say, I'm gonna unlearn that. Just instead of just saying, oh well, my parents did it, therefore I do it, or I grew up with it. That's just ridiculous. To
It
me, it
is just like
shows.
smoking. Like my dad smoked. He smoked. I think up until I turned 25. I think is when he quit. So if we use that same rationale, then I would be a smoker, or I would be. He wasn't really a heavy drinker, but he was really into beers. I really don't like that.
Mhm.
But so it's like we have the choice. Like our parents do the best that they can to teach us what they know and do better, and then we have the opportunity to expound upon that and
Right.
raise our generations up.
Yeah. Are
So
you
what
a
I
wine drink? It looks like, are you a wine connoisseur? I noticed you had a. Is it a
well,
Chardonnay?
this is water, right?
Oh,
So
I got
yes,
you.
I'm bougie with water in my wine glass. So this is what this is. But I do like to pair my dinners with wine. So with this meal, I got a Chardonnay, and this is a barrel aged Chardonnay and bourbon. So
Okay.
that's like the hot thing right now with the wines is to have your wine aged in either bourbon barrels or rye whiskey barrels, or I forgot the other one, cognac barrels. That's it. So it's
Is
become
there
like
is
the
it like a
new
year?
thing. Say again.
Is there a year on there, or is it like a just
You
a?
sound staticky.
Sorry. Is there a year? Like how you can look at the year on the bottle? Oh,
Staticky.
okay, Saki. Okay, go ahead. If you hear me come back in, then I'll ask again.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
So you talking about the year? The year is
Yeah.
2019, California.
Okay.
with the Robert Mondavi. Now, I like his Chardonnay. Like, I'm not really a white wine drinker, only with certain meals. I'm more so like into the reds, but I
Mhm.
love bourbon. So when I see a wine that's being aged in a bourbon barrel, like I'm all over it to try it. And for those
Yeah.
out there that like that high alcohol content in their wines, that's the way to go. These are like 16, 15%. And they're
Wow.
also doing that with the beers as well. You have a lot of beers now that are aged in the bourbon barrels or the rye barrels, and it gives it that extra little fire with the beer.
Right.
So, Dragon's Milk, if you haven't tried that beer before, Dragon's Milk is a bomb ass beer.
Wait, dried with milk?
Dragon. Dragon's Milk.
Oh, dragon's milk.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Hmm.
milking, I'm guessing. Just the name.
Just the name.
Okay. Because
It's a
I was like,
really good beer.
mm. It sounds very exotic.
It's based
Dragon's
out
milk.
of Texas.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this much. All right. So I guess when I was younger, I was really big into like beer. I mean,
Hmm.
but it wasn't really anything heavy. I liked my skin is stout. I like uh my what was it? What was the name of that thing? What is the name of that thing? Heineken. I liked
Yeah.
my Coronas. You know,
Hmm.
the pretty much the stuff everybody else would drink. And I think as I got older, I don't want to say bougie, but I started thinking, I don't need that. And then I was thinking about the yeast content. I was like, I don't need that. So then I
Hmm.
kind of moved over to my wines and started loving my certain Merlots and
Hmm.
Cabernet Sauvignon and
Hmm.
Shiraz and started learning about the Pinot Grigio and all
Exactly.
that. So
Hmm.
that's when I got a little more sophisticated with that. And then champagne was always on the list.
You like
So
champagne?
certain ones,
Okay.
you got to find ones that are not dry on your palate, that
Uh
makes
huh.
your tongue feel like it's being ripped apart.
Uh huh.
Those brutes, they're brutal.
I'm just not a fan, and I know like, oh, champagne and bring out the
Yeah,
Dom. I'm like, it's just
no. So no matter if it's a rosé or because a rosé is a little more silky textured. It's not
hmm.
like the brute. It's like you can rub your tongue like that. It feels really like dry. It's kind of
Right.
burning the tongue. So rosés, I've had like the Ace of Spade and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
I don't really go with just the names. I just think like certain like rosés have a different texture than a brute, for
Hmm.
example. So hey, if you're not into champagne, no matter what I tell you, it's gonna be like no.
I've tried it all. And then even like when I got promoted last year, a lot of people had brought me like champagne, and of course I'm gonna drink it. But
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll sit there and taste it with something else.
You turn to the side and spit it in the garbage can when they're not
Right.
looking.
Or when you swallow it, you're like, just trying to get it down.
Now, see that makes me go back to when I tried Southern Comfort the first time, and it felt like
Oh, really?
it felt like my throat was on fire. I was like, ah, yeah, I won't do that no more. So, again, one of those teenage, I say late teens, 18 or so, maybe a little 16, 17, but yeah, that and there was the other one, Jack Daniels.
I like Jack Daniels now. Like
Okay.
their honey Jack Daniels,
Uh,
that's really good. But I've become even more bougie, so I look straight for the top shelf when I'm looking for my bourbon whiskey. So I don't. I'll go for like the Maker's Mark is one of my favorites. I can't think of that other one that I really liked. It's Maker's Mark. Knob Creek. Knob Creek is another one that's like really good.
okay.
Jameson, but
Hey, so you know your brown liquors.
hmm. Yes.
Hey, you ever go to Kentucky? They have they're all about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one state I'm planning on going
Yeah,
to.
Kentucky and Louisiana, they kind of hang heavy on a lot of that.
Yeah.
Uh, the brown liquor.
Hmm.
Have you ever had moonshine? I have.
I have, and I was not a fan. Like my brother was here for Thanksgiving, and he brought up moonshine, and
Mm.
I'm looking at him like, "What are you doing? We are not in the mountains. Like, why are you drinking this?" But of course, I'm gonna try it because you try anything once. And I was like,
in the same breath, but I'll try it.
of course, I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I ain't like it. Mm-mm. It was just, I forgot what kind it was. It was something, but I just really didn't. I didn't like it. I was like,
Probably corn. Probably corn. They use
mm-hmm.
corn. Corn.
It could
Oh,
have been.
corn. Yeah,
It
corn.
could.
They usually use corn. The guy that I got it from, he
Mm-hmm.
was a regular guy from around the way kind of guy. But he was Southern. You know, I was living in Charlotte, and he lived on a corner house, and my house was like a couple up. And so we go over, you know, and then he cracks out his little moonshine. And this is
Uh-huh.
my first time looking at it, so it looked kind of purple. And it kind of looked a weird color. So just took a little bit, and that is a lot.
It put hair on your chest, huh?
Yeah, it was strong. I was like, what are y'all making in the backyard here? So, needless to say, I had my bout with Moonshine, and me and Moonshine are very familiar with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Would I revisit Moonshine? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, it's kind of like you had a experience, and that was what it was. It was an experience, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. I don't think I'll do that again. I will, like I said, occasionally, like yourself, I'll combine wines with certain dishes. White
Right.
wine, of course, with your white meat, and red with your
Right.
red.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really tend to do a lot of consumption of any type of alcohol. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of more occasional. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't,
Right.
I'm okay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on water.
Yes. I love water. I don't like the
Yeah.
whole flavored waters or anything like that. I just
No.
like
No.
pure water.
No. Okay.
But I
Here's
like
one
to
for
drink it
you.
out of the wine glass because, my bouginess kicks in, right?
You need to constantly remind yourself of your level of bouginess. Hey, listen. Okay, so we got to the water issue. You know, some of the water, the bottled water, has all that weird stuff in it when you read the label. And then you have, I like Deer Park because when I read the label, all I
Okay.
see is water. What's
Mm-hmm.
your take on the bottled water? You think that there's any difference? Do you notice any difference? You know, everybody's putting on kind of magnesium. You see
Mm-hmm.
one that even said baking soda. Why
Oh,
would you
wow.
need baking soda? Yeah, it didn't say baking soda. It had what is it? Uh, Sodium bicarbonate.
Oh, okay.
Why would you need that in your water? And then you wonder why you get dehydrated. Then another one is messing with the electrolytes. Like,
Yeah,
look,
I've seen those.
I don't want to be a chemical experiment. So I tend to want Deer Park water, just says water. What's your take on the whole bottled water business?
I remember growing up, and we didn't buy water. Like we just drank water right out of the hose or the sink or whatever. And I was really trying to remember what was this transition of when I went to buying water all the time. But I get Culligan water delivered, and I'm just fine with that. Now, sometimes, like my youngest daughter, who's very bougie with her water, like she only drinks Fiji. Yeah, Fiji. That's all she drinks. And
Oh.
so, yeah. So I'm just like, okay. And then she's all teaching me about the electric lights and the alkaline and the water and all that stuff. And I just be looking at her like, I just want plain water. Like, and I just want it to taste good. So I am a big fan of smart water. I like
Yeah.
that water. And I like Ephations, I think is what it's called. I like that water too. And
Mhm.
I'll just go in between those two, whichever's cheaper that day if
Uh-huh.
I'm buying water. Other than that, I have my Culligans delivered and I fill up my little gallon of water that I carry with me throughout work. And then I am good to go. Because
Right.
like I've been reading a lot, and a lot of that stuff that they'll sit there and say it's water from the Appalachian Mountains or whatever, and it's
Right.
straight from the sink. That I'm just like, I am not about to do that. That's ridiculous.
Hey, you and me the same. I was in New York City and they would always say that's some of the best water around. That's why the pizza's so good. And I'm like, you know what? I've been having water from the fire hydrant. I've had water from the sink. I've had water from the hose. When your mama said if you come back in, you're gonna stay in the house. So you gotta drink from
Exactly.
outside. So
Exactly.
it come
And
to
then, and let me tell you, when you're outside running around as a kid, that hose water be so good.
you tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Be the
You
best
know,
thing ever.
everybody lined up. What the water? Ain't nobody caring about whether the dog done peed over there. And you know the dog been over there. Yet you still be
Exactly.
like,
You'd be
I
like,
don't
I'm
care.
good. So
Because all I
now,
be thinking about is, you come back in this house one more time, you gonna stay in here. Uh-oh. Sound like a death sentence to me. I'm
I
gonna
know,
drink this
right?
water out here. So yeah, that was my question about the bottled water. Because like, you're right. Like, where did we get to this point where this water ain't good enough no more? We need something coming out of a plastic contaminated container, because it does get contaminated when aged enough and long enough. We never know
Right.
how long it's been sitting and wherever it's been sitting before we finally get it, because we only know about it from when we had it.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple years ago, and I left water in my car, and it was like super hot that day.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, 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 don't drink that. That's breast cancer water. And I was like, what the hell are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? And it's because, sitting in that plastic in that hot sun, it
Right.
just does something, like studies show. So then,
Right.
I really started thinking, and, we have more people with cancer now. We have more people with different kinds of medical ailments and so
Right.
forth than what we had before.
Right.
And I really think a lot of it has to do with the food that we're consuming and the stuff that they put into the food. So I think maybe a couple years after that, you started seeing BPA free on different plastic water bottles. And then
Right.
it made me think about, what she said. And I was like, huh, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous for young children to have cancer. Like, golly, you just came out the womb. Like, what just
Exactly.
happened here? And it just goes into the consumption of food, because when we look back, and yeah, granted, I think the average age was like 70, but they weren't dying from cancer. It was like it was old. Now that we know better and we do better and we eat
Mm-hmm.
healthier, we have our vitamins and stuff like that. Why is cancer going rampant? Because of all the chemicals and all the bull crap that they're putting in the food,
Right.
and it also in the water. Like, if you
Yeah.
pay, I forgot what show that was, and the dude had like different types of water, and he was showing like how unclean the water was. Like, you think you're spending all this money on this clean, whatever filtered water, and it was
Right.
just, and the water out of the sink was better than all of it. And so I was like, okay, all right,
So
so
you've been
now,
you've been duped into thinking that there's that good water and then there's this
exactly,
water. Yeah. It's
exactly,
another of the many tricks that are being pulled over the many, blind. How they call it, pulling the wool over your eyes. So
exactly.
yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot because okay, so you got the water that comes from your refrigerator. There's a filter in that, but the filter is runs through. It looks like coal or carbon filter, carbon.
Yeah, I
So
think it's carbon.
yeah, it's carbon. That's what I meant to say, not coal. That would be crazy. Carbon. So it filters through, and you look inside, it's black. But I'm like, it's filtering, but it's still something weird about it going through carbon. Carbon is like your basic element,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think like, okay, so why not they choose something else rather than carbon? And is that really a healthy filter? I just asked myself that question. But between filtering the water through the refrigerator or getting the bottled water or drinking it from the faucet, look, at this point, if something's gonna kill you,
I
it's probably
know.
not gonna be the water. It's like a lot of
No.
other things. There's a lot of stuff out here that'll get to you. Before the water get to you, you might be okay. The thing is though, when it comes to dehydration over starvation, we would dehydrate and die before we would starve and die.
True. So I was reading this thing where I would never say like you're hungry, but are you really hungry? Like, how much water did you drink? So, drink, a couple of glasses of water and see how you are, and then if you're still hungry, then okay, like you're actually hungry. You're just not dehydrated. So I've noticed that sometimes when I'm not drinking my water like I should be because I'm busy or whatever I have going on, and I'm hungry. And I see this Snickers bar and I'm like, I want that, but I'll sit there if I can and go, wait a minute, let me go ahead and drink this bottle of water first, and
Right.
then if I'm still hungry, let me find something better than the Snickers.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference. It really does. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I find that the water we get in our salads, for example, that's another thing where you can get water and not just through consuming it as a cup of water,
Mhm.
but if you find hmm, foods that have a lot of good water, and I think about salads in particular, lettuce or whatever, because people always think they have to sit around and consume 32 ounces of water. You can
Right,
have, lettuce, you can have celery. There's plenty of water in all of that stuff.
right,
And so you can get your water by actually consuming good vegetables and
right.
not just water. So I think people are turned off a lot because they think that's a lot of water. I don't
Yeah.
think I could drink that much. I think it's 8 glasses or whatever it is. In a day, can I really consume that much? Well, if you add in the salads or whatever good, products that you eat that have water in it, and then you supplement that with some water, you can find a balance where you can actually get an adequate amount of water.
Yeah, you
That's what I
can.
found. You
You
know,
can. If you
you can.
really what's the word? Like you really consciously take the time and drink it and
Right.
over throughout the day. You can't sit up there and try to suck all that water down at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you be
Yeah,
up all night going to the bathroom. You gotta
that
like
is true.
stage it.
That is true.
And so I
Yeah.
noticed like on a day when I have a whole lot of meetings throughout the day, I'll be like, I won't drink as much water because I hate being in a meeting and they're talking. I'm all like, I need to pee. I don't hear nothing this man has to say because I gotta go to the
Gotta go to
bathroom.
the bathroom. That's right.
So I hate that. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna drink this water or not as much because I hate having to be in a meeting, can't leave. I gotta
Right.
go to the bathroom. But I was gonna ask you and I forgot. Huh.
Oh, about the consumption of the water.
Yeah, it was something about that.
It'll come back to you. Don't worry.
It'll
It
come
happens
back.
to me.
That's my old age creeping in. I'm like,
Nah, it happens to the best of us. So yeah, I see. I see you do enjoy cooking. You definitely um like to call it a connoisseur of the kitchen.
I try to. In my mind, I think I am. I say I've had a lot of wins, but I've had some losses. I remember, I love chocolate chip cookies, and so I was trying to make them. But again, I'd be thinking I'm smarter than the recipe. So this was like 10 years ago, and I'm trying to make these chocolate chip cookies, and I'm not following the recipe like you should because I know better. And I made these cookies and put them in there, and they were horrible. And they were just like flat like paper, and all you saw was the little mound of chocolate. And so
Yeah.
I'm looking at my kids, they were like 6 and 7 at the time, I think. And it was like, no, mom, I'm not eating that. I'm like, no, just try it. Just try it. It just was not good. But then I learned I'm not smarter than the recipe. And so then when I followed it to a T, like did everything the lady said, they came out great. So I'm like, oh, okay. You just have to follow. But I like
Follow
to
the
put
recipe.
my own, huh?
No, I said you just had to follow recipe as you were saying.
Exactly, right? And so, but I like to put my own spin on a lot of things. Again, I like to season till the ancestors tell me to stop, because I
Mhm.
like my food to be flavorful and not bland. So I
Right.
think that's where I just throw my little mix in, or I add my little own recipe or so forth, and it just comes out really great, actually. But I can tell you the time I tried to make tuna casserole. It was not good.
Mm-mm.
I was like, oh, okay, McDonald's. Let's go to McDonald's today.
Yeah, tuna casserole. It has a very nice ring to it. The casserole. The word is casserole.
I
So
don't know what I was thinking.
epic fail.
Epic fail. Like epic fail.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, we just went to McDonald's. McDonald's saved the day that day.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta have your go to.
hmm Just like a comedian. You know how comedians, all the great ones will tell you, you will bomb at least once on stage.
Right.
Like it's just gonna happen. And that, adds to the character, does whatever. So that's how I feel about, cooking. You will have at least one or two bad dishes. It's just what you do. And that's how you learn to do better and know exactly what to do, and you can just start cooking straight from memory.
Right. And then always have a speed dial phone number so you can just like, you know what? Bling bling. Can y'all deliver some KW
Exactly.
cafeteria? Can y'all yeah. Whoever it is out there that you call, of course we can always jump in the car and go out, but You gotta have something on speed dial.
Exactly. To come save the
Oh
day.
man. You know what? So the thing about, because we touched on the water, and that brings me to another concept, or at least a thought. When we talk about chakra balance and the balance of one's chakra, which I don't know if you're familiar, but that's a
I am.
Hindi term, and a lot of people talk about the electrolytes in the water and all of that, and it kind of is hinged on the balance of those chakras
Mhm.
from the first to the seventh. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, I am familiar with the chakras.
Cool.
Not in pure detail, but yes, I know a little bit.
You know a little. Okay, good.
Mhm.
So the root chakra is the base
Mhm.
of everything, and going from that base, going up through abdomen, through your reproductive, through your chest, your heart, through your throat,
Yeah.
to your pineal gland, and then to the crown of your head. There's your 7 levels of growth. Now
Mhm.
we put this in so many different things. We got Maslow's hierarchy. That's how they call it there.
Yep.
We got a lot of different ways it's termed, but it's the same concept that there are layers that a human has to work through to get to his self actualization, to get to see his true self, or
Right.
to be his best self. How do you find, especially in today's time with all of this going on, there are a lot of people who are becoming more awake. How do you find, like in your life, does it affect, or how do you apply, or is there anything that you've come across that has been kind of unique or distinct into the balancing process of one as a human being?
Okay, so you were staticky. I need you to say
Mm.
all that one more time.
All right. So,
Wait. Still staticky.
okay, let me know. You know what? It's probably giving you the static because I'm giving you some information, or we're going into another level, another layer. Can you hear me?
Staticky.
All right. So I won't talk. When you start talking, I can hear you. So I'll let you talk.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
no.
Well, okay. Go ahead and cook. You go back over there. I'll call you.
Okay, so let
Okay.
me talk a little bit about here. So what I added in here was which I don't know if y'all saw me. I've chopped up a medium size yellow onion and put that in there, as well as a red bell pepper. I've already added my coconut milk and my cilantro. And so right now I just have it on low for it to season and let all those seasonings sink into the meat. My rice and my wonderful rice cooker is already done. Oh, I also forgot. I did add a little bit of the fish sauce to give it like a little bit more of a flavor. So in the next 2-3 minutes, the meal will be done. I will make the plates. I will pop open my wine. And my son, who is hungry, waiting off in the wing, who will be sitting here to share this meal with me. Oh, and yeah,
Is he the official taste tester?
he is my official taste tester. So he's sometimes he's camera shy, sometimes he isn't. But like if I'm really doing something like off the wall, I'd be like, Anthony, try it. Tell me how it tastes. Because he holds no bars, has no problem hurting my feelings if something is disgusting. And he'll so for example, last night I had made curry pork noodles from Blue Apron because sometimes I'll cook the meals from there just for something different.
Yeah.
And it has like the ground pork and the red cabbage. And my son was like, I'm not eating that. And I was like, no, come on, just try it. Just try it. And he refused. Like, this kid went to damn Chick-fil-A. Like, no, you didn't go to Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
He did. But
Is this the older one? Is he, like you
he's
said,
the
one was
oldest one.
20?
He's the 22-year-old. Yeah.
Okay, he's 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
He
I
gonna
was
need to have a talk with himself, because eventually one day he gonna look back when there ain't no woman out there cooking for you. You're gonna be happy your mama was cooking for you.
like,
Because
tell him that.
nowadays the best you're gonna get is microwave.
Mhm. Speaking of that, it
What?
blows my mind how people don't cook no more. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
Especially, in that generation. I'm like, damn dog, like y'all don't cook. Now my daughter's 21. She cooks. And I've taught her different things and I've gave her some recipes to try and so forth. So she gets that same enjoyment of cooking a bomb meal and being like, I did that. And she
Right.
loves to bake as well. Same thing with my other kid. because I had them in the kitchen teaching them things. And and Anthony, he can cook. He loves spaghetti. He loves all the different types of spaghetti, so he can cook that. But
Right.
it kind of blows my mind with this new 20 something. They just don't cook.
Right, right, and they don't understand that it's not just a bonding experience between human beings because you can connect with that whole process,
Hmm.
but the enjoyment that you get of on both sides, one receiving the food,
Right.
two in creating the food and preparing the food, it's a win-win situation. Then
Right.
they go in and look for a relationship, and this relationship is a discounted model. It comes without cooking. It comes without anything. I'll buy that.
It's it's funny because me and my son, and it's so funny because I love talking to him. I love getting that insight of
Right,
that 20 something generation, just to know like how they think.
right.
And because nowadays all over Instagram and so forth, you got the
Hmm.
whole Instagram hose with the everybody's got the same
Yeah,
bodies, everybody goes to the same doctor, everybody's got the
right.
same hair because they go to the same weave doctor, shit like that.
There you go.
And so I asked him, now mind you, his girlfriend is not like that. I like her a lot.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, is that really cute? Like, is that really? And of course, he's like, no, like, absolutely not. And
Right.
so, the different, what's that girl name? Alexis Sky. And
Okay.
I was like, what does she do? Like, does she have a song? Does she sew clothes? Like, what does she do besides look pretty? Because she's a beautiful young lady,
Right.
beautiful. Went to the same doctor, got the same carved up body.
Right.
But I'm just like, dang, like I just feel like these young ladies don't realize they have so much more to offer
Right.
than that. Like, but all they're trying to do is find Future and have one of his kids or one of these people out there. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm good now. I got me a rich baby daddy. I got my little baby, and now I'm pulling
Yeah.
$10,000 a month in child support. I'm good. And they be all over the gram or
Right.
Facebook or Snapchat, half damn naked, doing whatever. And so I'm like, golly, there's so much more to you than
Right.
that. Because when you get a certain age, it don't matter how much surgery you have, it's not going to work. You know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
when you overdo it with the surgery, and when you get a certain age, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I left my face alone. Or I wish I left my body alone.
I wish I left my nose alone.
Exactly. And so that really, I don't know. I just be like, huh, like what happened? So then I
Right.
look at our generation. Did we
Yeah.
not mentor enough? Did we not be involved enough? Did we not teach them enough?
No, I think it's kind of like probably how our parents looked at us,
Uh-huh.
and we probably look really different from what they knew. Maybe. And maybe we're looking at it the same way, like, oh my God, look at that. But like think about like the 60s or whatever, 50s or
Mhm.
whatever they were up to. Like I always think about when there was no TV. And I was like, I guess in the 50s, right? They had a lot of time on their hands. You're like, where all these babies come from? You have no TV. You have nothing to do all day
Uh-huh.
but
Mhm.
make babies. So,
Right.
then we get to a generation like ourselves. We kind of have a balance between some TV and some kid making. Then we
Hmm.
get to a new generation that says, I don't need TV. I got a phone. And in the phone has the whole world.
Right.
The money making, the naked people,
They still
the
making
we
babies though. You
they
got
making
what's his
babies.
name? What's
They
that
making
rapper
babies.
name with the 10 kids from 10
Oh
different
God, you
women?
do not. You talking about? Is it? You think you said future, but
It was
I
Future's
mean
one, Moneybag Yo, I think.
that's
No,
a whole another
no, it's
mess.
another show. That's another show.
Yeah,
Okay.
but your average Joe cannot afford but so many kids unless you want to be on the run and
Right.
be quitting jobs and adding jobs and quitting jobs to avoid the whole child support thing, which is
Right.
this is how they roll. So my thing is this: if you're gonna choose someone you're gonna have to spend your life with, or at least a significant amount of time, because
Right.
nowadays the average, I don't even want to say the average, but I think people are good within 5 years. They're like, oh, you know what? Like a 5 year old car, I think I'm ready for something new. That seems to be more of the mentality than I'm gonna see how many years I can. Can I do 20? Can I do 30? Can I do more than that? it seems to be a different mindset. Like used tires, get some new tires. What do you think?
You know, yes, I think people don't. I think okay, so I think that people aren't taking their time to find the right mate to be with, to be equally yoked, like the Bible says, right?
Right.
So they get pressured by other people. For example, I have 3 friends getting married within 2021.
Mhm.
That don't mean I'm about to run out here and find me some Joe Schmo to up and marry because my friend's getting married.
Right.
Because, I've been divorced. So I'm like, you have to learn how to take your time and know, is this person the right fit for me? How is he when he's mad? How is he when he's sad or sick? Or when we go on a trip? Is he, just all those kind of things. And people don't take that time to truly get to know that person. They fall in love with their representative for the first 90 days, and then once they get to the 93rd or 94th day, they're already knocked up. And they're like, oh my God, he's this, he's abusive, he's blah, blah, blah. But if you would have took that time to get to know this person and talk to him for at least 30 minutes a day, instead of just meeting up to sleep with them, you would have known that. So I think people aren't taking their time to really get to know somebody. And they, up and get married and they try to make it work. And then, like you said, after about 5 years, they're like, well, I can't do this. The
Yeah.
way he breathes irks my soul. I have to go. When they weren't compatible in the first place, had they have taken that time to really get to know that person. Like Beyonce and Jay-Z dated, 10 years before they got married?
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, no marriage is going to be without faults. There's always going to be ups and downs and things that you work through and yada yada yada. But it's the level of commitment and love that you have with that person. Are you willing to work through it? Besides the person beating the hell out of you or sleeping with 50,000 other people while they're married to you. Those are
There
two
are some.
things.
There are
Huh?
definitely some things you can't go through with.
Exactly. You can't. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we don't do the hitting. We
Right.
don't do sleeping with 5,000 other people.
Right.
Another thing I learned, you gotta know how to handle your finances because no,
Yeah, that causes a lot of breakups. It causes a
exactly,
lot of breakups. And yeah, definitely.
exactly. And
I
another
think
thing
going
I
in.
noticed, huh? Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'll say another thing I noticed with I don't know, probably you more so than me, but being a female, pretty high ranking female, so then you have a lot of men out there who are looking for the meal tickets. Oh, I'll just go be with her and follow her around and get her free medical and her free dental and bullshit like that. And that is what I've ran into the past couple of years when I was talking to my other friends who are E9s as well.
Yeah.
Same thing. And I'm just like, wow, because I'm not used to men like that. Like my
Yeah.
brothers, no.
Mm-mm.
My father, my uncles, hell
Right.
no. They are men's men. And so
Yeah.
I'm used to like a man, doing the raw traditional,
Right.
call it what you want.
Handling his business.
Exactly. Not looking at the woman to take care of everything for him because he's looking for a meal ticket. And
Uh-uh.
I'm just finding that more so with a lot of men lately. And I'm like, wow, when I went to visit my cousin back in I think it was July, and my cousin's husband is a Sigma. So it was like this big frat party or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was one of the guys there, and they was like, oh, this is Felicia, this is so and so's cousin, and he's all in my face like, oh yeah, she's this big person in the military. And so then I hear him tell somebody, oh, my cousin told me. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna get with her and I just live off her. I was like, are you nuts? I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, how can you just look and make this plan right off the bat? That just really blew my mind. Dude was like 45. How old is Patrick? 45, 46. So it's like, wow, what happened to the mentality of, men, coming in as men and being that man in that female's life? What happened?
Yeah,
You know?
that's a new generation thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about that. I think a man that even forms his lips to say that,
Mm-hmm.
no disrespect,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't feel comfortable wanting someone, especially my wife, or to support me in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the desire. I don't like sign up for that. Now, You go down, you have a surgery, you get hurt, you're on one leg. There comes a time where it's needed that they gotta like, I had surgery, okay, I need somebody to drive me home from the hospital. There's a
Oh,
need,
definitely.
but
Right.
to say that you're gonna sign up with the intention of living off or sponging off of the woman, that's like Chinese to me. That's like Chinese. So I can't see how any man could feel comfort. Although, let me qualify that because I will say this, and this is what I used to think about. I had a cousin, maybe one or two of them, that they would move and get and live with a woman. And when I say that, I mean like she'd have her thing all going,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna go and move, live with her now. Just give her some money. And you know what? That's the problem. You create that baby situation. And here's the thing. You know how we got to
Mhm.
take accountability? The women
I
that are
agree.
okay with that scenario,
I
they
agree.
they create these type of men.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a
I have to agree.
symbiotic relationship.
Mhm.
And this conversation is good for the mating game. We gotta probably pick it up on the next show. But the show, the mating game, we get into details about this kind of stuff. That
Mhm.
symbiotic relationship where he's like, I don't have to have all the rent or the mortgage money. I only need a fraction, and then I'm into the red zone, as they say in the football.
Mhm.
So that's a bad thing to allow a guy to set up shop in a situation you have already created. Now, mind you, there are so many conditions. I myself, like probably yourself, I've owned my home. I've owned a home for like 14 years.
Right.
And prior to that, I've had apartments and I've never lived with a woman like she had something. And then I showed up and was like, hey, can I go there and pay some of your rent or something crazy? Now, again, I'm not every man and I'm not in every situation. And I can identify with that particular thing as far as for me is concerned. It sounds like a good look for the woman as well. He's paying some bills, so she gets to pull less out of her pocket, and I could see sort of the incentive. But then you're going to have to be happy with the kind of man you're getting
Right.
because you only going to get out what you put in. If a man is built a certain way, right? In this case, he might be built to grew up on some old school, like
Mhm.
myself. Now, if I have an audio, let me know because I just plugged up the charge up. You good with audio?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. If I was built a certain way, old school, I'm paying on bills. We're never having late notices. I'm even throwing extras. I'm cooking.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm throwing
Mhm.
down in the kitchen. I'm doing a lot of stuff maybe even the other guy doesn't do. But I think if we put their feet to the fire before you get involved in a certain level, then you can assure at least limit your risk. As I talked about before, risk
Mhm.
management.
Mhm.
Risk management. Like, for example, and this is again for me, I don't mind someone who likes to cook. I don't mind someone who can cook. Doesn't mean I won't cook. Doesn't mean I can't cook. I like it just as necessary. But to know that they can show up and do certain things, and that's just an example. One
Right.
does not expect that that is the sole role and purpose of a woman to be in the kitchen cooking. I'm saying
Right.
if you have a
Right.
love and joy of something, like for example, let's just say if I was a woodcutter and I like cutting wood. Well, look, it's nothing. I like to do it. I want to go out and do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Same thing. If that person just has a love for the people enjoying their food or people being cooking, then it's okay. It
Mhm.
doesn't take nothing away that that person wants to do whatever they want to do. But
Mhm.
if I find out that this person is not, and then we talk about the evenly yoked and compatibility.
Right.
If I'm a dude from this generation and I like microwave food, I don't care if you could cook. I just want microwave food. So some of the skill sets that we might acquire or even appreciate and admire, the generation now, it says need not apply.
I know. That's so
I
sad.
don't mind going out every night and wasting all my money on food because I'm balling.
Mm.
Balling, let's go there. If you're showing me a stash of money, you're stupid because that money's not invested and it's not working.
Mhm.
You showed me right there just by showing that is a lacking because
Mhm.
when you're smart enough to put it somewhere and for it to generate more revenue, then you're impressing me. If it's stopped, money is called currency, like an electric current. It's constantly
Right.
moving and changing.
Right.
If you have, and it's called fiat money, because my Morris understanding, fiat money is really worth nothing, really. But we go and you put it into this current electrical system and try to make it move. If you have it sitting in your hand, that second is not making money. So why? What's the point of that? It is visual.
Hood mentality.
It gets me like, oh, she'll be impressed because look what I'm showing.
Right.
One of the lists you go down is let's go through the asset list. Do you own a home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the net. I don't even want to go to car because it's a depreciating asset. It's a
Mm-hmm.
depreciating asset. A horse is like a horse and a car, one of the same. They're just transportation to get you from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you have a little more about yourself, you can own a BMW. I own one. I ain't impressed. I've had BMW, Mercedes, and all those. They still drive the
Exactly.
same. The only thing that costs you is the higher gas. It's, you can't use 85
And
gas.
the
So
maintenance on that thing.
yeah, if you have a maintenance, you got to fix something. Yeah, you're gonna
Yes.
pay more money. But the fact of the matter is, if he can't even get a mortgage from a bank, there's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you would find out is, can you get a mortgage from a bank? Not that you got to buy one tomorrow. But if
But
you,
can you?
and let me not say everybody can have a credit situation at any given time. Everyone who has had a mortgage at some point could have had a
Mm-hmm.
situation because trust me, if they was to file out everybody who had bad credit, nobody would have credit. Nobody,
Exactly.
and that
Nobody.
would ruin the credit system. They
Mm-hmm.
need us to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So they let you do what? File bankruptcy, give you 7 months to repair, 7 years to repair.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's become so much easier now for you to fix your credit because 15 years ago, whatever, when I was looking
Right,
at my first house, it wasn't like that,
right,
and it was like difficult.
right.
So and it was so I remember when I got divorced the first time,
Hmm.
my credit went like really bad. So I
Right,
spent 4 years cleaning everything up, having money in the bank, whatever, because I knew in 2005 I was going to buy this house.
right.
I didn't do it because I got scared, and I'm glad I didn't buy it because I ended
Mhm.
up leaving after a year. But it was just, but now like you can raise your credit score in 30 days. Like I'm
Right.
just like, wow, this is a big
Yeah,
difference from before.
they don't want everyone to file out. They see the
Yeah,
economic situation, and if you understand how this system works, we need borrowers.
right.
That's what they're saying. We can't have everybody not be qualified for a mortgage. But you know the best mortgage people they like? Uneducated mortgage people.
Mhm.
Uneducated financial people.
Mhm.
People are not aware about how they sign on the dotted line and what it all entails. People don't understand about the refi process and
Mhm.
why they will come to you every 5 years. You just starting that clock all over. You could be equity in deep, 5 years of equity or whatever, because the first couple of years is straight interest.
Right.
Say you go 5 to 7 in, and yeah, you got some equity. They're gonna come at you. You can pull your equity out, refinance, blah, 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 and we'll give you this rate. When you do the numbers, whether it's 2% or whatever, they say if you go 2% below your original, you're good. No. You got the finance cost for to actually do that mortgage. And at the end of the day, you just taking out of your equity. So at the end of the day, your ownership goes back to zero. You got a nice little amount of money. They know the game. So
Mhm.
they're always coming back to you saying, hey, can you want to dig? They know their win is that they're going to get a piece of that money for no reason at all.
Mhm.
Put you back on the 30-year track treadmill when you could have been down 11, 10, 9, 8. Like, for example, let's just say, um, and again, these are the parts of the shows that I said there's so many, the two shows, we're going to be definitely talk about those. But when it comes to going from a 30 to a 15, if you've been on the 30 and you look at your timeline and you say, I can probably get this done in 15, and the numbers look right, it's not bad to flip to a 15. Because I'm talking, when would you want to refinance? Say I'm 28 deep. I got 28 years to go. But I can afford a 15. Why not go for a 15? But let me go further. You could stay in the 28 if you got a good rate. And extra pay, go to an amortization schedule, which I have in the spreadsheet that talks about that literacy. I can go on my spreadsheet and say, if I put 2,000 more, I can pay this in 7 years. But why would I go to 15? I could stay in the 30 because
Right.
it's advertising at a 30, but I can just double up on my pays and be done in 7.
Mhm.
So those are the kind of techniques, strategies accountants use, myself, or people that are financially literate.
Mhm.
That's just one example of many. When you talk about paying your bills, you talk about how can you um, get a little ahead. Round up, small
Yeah.
example.
Right.
Small rounds.
Mhm.
Small rounds.
Mhm.
If you whatever and change, round up. Do it
Mhm.
on every bill. 6 months down the line, that water bill is now $5 or $6 or $7, even $10 less. Because you've
Mhm.
been putting little nickels and dimes, you would just always round up. You could round up $1, round up $2. Every little bit. So that way, you're literally lowering that bill every month. At the end of the day, okay, you get a little bit tough, a little bit tight behind on any particular bill where you've already saved in
Right.
your utilities. You
Right.
saved in all of those because you doubled up a little bit. So the
Mhm.
doubling up concept works in a mortgage, works in a utility, and as they always tell you about, if you have a credit card or whatever, you're going to knock out one, then you have extra cash flow to go to the next.
Go to the next. The snowball
Go
effect.
to the
Yeah.
next, the snowball.
Mhm.
So all of these little techniques, if you're not taught that, unfortunately, we're not taught that. A lot of us are not financially taught that. Then you are playing the game of chess with checker mentality. This is a game of chess. You play chess?
Now
All
my
right.
I've tried. I suck. I know I need to take my time
Yeah.
and learn how to do it, but I
It's
have
okay.
I have a chess table, and
Yeah.
my youngest daughter, she knows how to play, and I'll try to play, but she constantly tells me I'm breaking the rules. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, I can't.
Are you just messing with her, or are you really like making a mistake though?
But half and half.
Well, I play chess.
Mhm.
Chess is going to be something that you have to look at life. It's a life lesson tool. It will give you the patience. It will give you the forethought and to have 5 moves ahead. Like you said, I'm planning on in 6 years doing X, Y, Z. That's a chess move.
Mhm.
Because you ain't just looking at today and living just looking at today. You're looking at what I need to do to get to the next level. So
Right.
that's a strategic kind of concept when we call about chess. We're not looking at that one move. We're looking at that move plus five. And that's what you have to have in this day and time. You people have always needed it, but the
Right.
ability to apply it or even learn it or even think it. Now, imagine when you inject that into your children.
Mhm.
People talk about passing on different things that they pass on financial literacy,
Right. Mhm.
pass on the ability to master this game, and it is priceless. Give you tricks of the trade. Everything that we
Mhm.
give them,
Mhm.
that's going to help them manage money going forward.
Mhm.
Somebody was thinking about just handing money. If you hand somebody money, but they can't manage it, they're going to be broke in 6 months.
Like those lottery winners, they win 20, 20, 30 million dollars, and then within a year or two, they're flat broke.
Right. Because they don't
Flat.
have the know-how to manage the
Right.
money. So
Right.
people, I'm going to leave my kids. You could do that. You better hope you gave them the tools.
To keep it and grow it. Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
And
Hmm.
here's another one you got to look out for. The lawyer who signed up your contract and put his name in that he's going to be the estate manager. The
True.
accountant who didn't file your taxes and pocketed a little bit and said he did.
Hmm.
And all those other people that you get really friendly with.
Hmm.
Know who you are assigning to do what responsibility and what duty and at what level.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of the entertainers make and
Yeah.
other people make.
Wesley Snipes. Yeah.
Everybody's sitting around, oh, how did Wesley end up in a tax situation? How did Tony Braxton, blah, blah, blah? How did
Yeah.
TLC,
Mariah
blah, blah,
Carey. Yeah.
blah?
Hmm.
Because you know what they said? I just want to sing. I didn't want to say. I just want to entertain folk. I don't worry about that. I got my accountant. I got this and that. It's cool to have those people.
Hmm.
It's better for that person to sit down and teach you. It's just like if we talk about street knowledge. It's one
Hmm.
thing for me to provide financial for you. It's another for me to teach you how to hustle.
Exactly.
And a man that teaches you how to hustle is highly respected and regarded over a man that just want to continuously provide and feed you like hand and food.
Right.
That's not a look. Here's the thing. Think about Ethiopia when they were in starvation mode. To this day, America and all these good-to-do countries are still saying, if you just send us $2 a day, we'll hand it to these guys and we'll feed them.
Hmm.
You never sat Africa down and said, this is how you build a well, this is how you build a this is how you
Hmm.
create a that. The
Hmm.
dependency mindset is what a lot of the masses like.
Hmm.
But if you can free yourself from that mentally, then you're really free. Free is a mindset
Right.
more than a shackle.
Hmm.
if you can free your mindset. So those anyway, the chakra things I was talking about is when you get clarity, you've cleaned out your system. You're not eating all that crap. You've
Right.
got your mind right. You start being able to see through the third eye. You start having
Mm-hmm.
things that open, and now everything is magnifying in the direction in which you want to happen is going to happen naturally
Mm-hmm.
because you now have clairvoyance. You cleared the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we only get in our own way by not clearing all those pathways out, cleansing all that nonsense out so we can get to this level. And so we
Mm-hmm.
spend time wasting time and we spend time doing getting distracted.
Right.
And distractions is a mother. You won't even know it's a distraction. It's a distraction. Well, wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to be doing XYZ. Now here I go doing XYZ. Distractions.
Right.
So anyway, long-winded. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, but yeah, that's the thing. It's just so many things that you can do to change your life, and
Mm-hmm.
you can do it now. People always think if I had the money. No,
Right. Like, no, you need to do it now. Like, what are you
get your
waiting
mind,
for?
get your
Right.
mind
You're
right.
all like, I need everything to line up perfectly. Like, no, you need to do
Mm-mm.
it now and then add more later. Just like having a kid. There's never a perfect time to have a kid.
No,
But you do it and then you plan accordingly and you get through it and it comes out to be this beautiful thing. Same, I think that's the same concept, same mindset. There's never a right time. Just do it. And then do it without thinking. Because I feel like the more that you think about it, the more you'll talk yourself out of it, the more you start to get nervous and scared and be like, okay, I'm not going to do it. Like, no, you thought too much. When you go
yeah,
out there and you do your thing and you're in your element, you don't have to think because you're just flowing because everything is aligned and you are in your element.
right in your zone, in your element. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
did you plate that thing? I see something looking nice back
I
there.
did. I plated it. Hey, Anthony, you want to taste it?
Bring that thing close before he digs in. Let us get a look
Okay.
at the visual. Let me see what you
Can
got
you
going. What
see?
you working with?
Let me go this way. Okay.
Okay, I see you
So
working that
you
thing.
see the cilantro that's garnered on the top with the
Mm-hmm.
red bell peppers and the onions. And I put 2 chicken thighs on here for him because, you know, he likes to eat.
Take a picture of it. Make sure you post it later on so people can have a chance to look at it too.
Oh, definitely. Definitely will do that.
Before Anthony goes ham, cause he about to go ham. He about to go in. He ain't playing. He like, look, you done had me sitting here all this time. I'm ready to go in. What's up with it? But so, but this has been a great experience working with you. I know that we'll do more. God willing,
Uh-huh.
it's the right situation. The other two shows I told you about, I think we definitely could jump on that too. The I
Okay.
am, it's inspiration. And then the other thing you were talking about, something else, oh, the mating game,
Yes.
which is again
Mm-hmm.
talking about how the mindsets of the people are. Because the mating game was supposed to be like a game show thing.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it basically became more like, I still think of it creating it into a game show, like the dating game,
Uh-huh.
3 contestants and someone asking questions. But I found that in conversation we were having a lot because the first episode was a expert coming in, a dating analyst. She came and she spoke about what it takes, what's the mindset. I said maybe we should start there and maybe grow into sort of the whole dating thing, and we'll see what happens. But having said that, we know
Mm-hmm.
Anthony's ready to do his thing. Hey, matter of fact, let's have Anthony give us an on-screen result. What's going on, Anthony? How are you?
How y'all
You
doing?
gonna be our official Nardo test guy and let us know what the deal is, because I can't taste it. I'm not over there. She could be putting on.
What? No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Drum roll.
I already know it's good.
I mean, I do too, but I'm just saying.
I was trying to get the chicken.
He was trying to get the chicken.
You probably need a knife, I would think. I don't know. Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Banging.
It's banging.
Good and yummy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's banging, good and yummy. Cooking. We got
Mm-hmm.
Felicia in the building doing her thing. And
You should see his full face. He was like,
look, that's a visual. You got to catch it on camera, right? There you go. That's some good and yummy right there.
mm-hmm.
So, Felicia, it was great having you, talking to you, and I hope to talk to you more. A
Mm-hmm.
great look. We'll definitely talk more. We'll
Okay.
be talking for hours. We'll be on camera 6 hours later, and they're still going. So, but yeah, definitely want to thank you for coming up on the show and looking forward to talking to you in the near future.
Uh-huh.
And Anthony, enjoy that food because I'll be doing it if I was there, but that's you.
Thanks, brother.
All right, now you take care, right? Felicia, thank you so much for coming to Good and Yummy Cooking Show. And yo, guys, if you are interested in knowing more about her, we can get you information about her dishes and everything like that. If she feels so led to do so, I'll relay that information to you guys.
No
If
problem.
you want to give any information now, you can do so as well.
Well, you can always find me on Facebook under Felicia Whitlow. I'm also on Instagram under I just changed it, so I forgot what it was, but I think it's Queen Whitlow or Queen FL Whitlow. I'll give it to you so you can put it out there. I just forgot what it was, but it's easier to find me on Facebook at Felicia Whitlow. And
All
I
right,
believe
wonderful.
I am the only one. So
Okay, yeah, just in case, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, we'll definitely talk more off camera and do things like that. But thank you for coming in, and I'll be talking to you real soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, let me turn you off there. Tapping out. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That was Felicia Whitlow. Great dish that she prepared. It was a wonderful dish and a wonderful conversation and a wonderful time talking with her. I'm your host, Fat Cat. Good and Yummy Cooking. Some of the best things we've had yet, and is the best is yet to come. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. We have a couple of other business matters to handle, and most of which has already been out there on post. Most of the shows we have coming through, coming up from now until Christmas, you guys will be able to go to my Facebook page. You'll hear about the Give Me the Mic show coming up, some interviews. You also have the I Am coming up Tuesday the 22nd. I Am All I Am. And we have Goat Fitness coming up on the 27th. So again, tune in. Go to my Facebook. I'm always posting. I'm always promoting and letting you guys know. But more importantly, connect with us on WPKBmedia.com. We have the Roku channel that's tied in. January 4th, that's going live. We're going to keep pushing forward, onward, and upward. I'll talk to you soon. Be care. And what I always tell you, stay woke.